Section 48(1), the accused is fined 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. The mandatory Section 48(b) on the amount lost, that's 450 times 2, 900,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. Count 4, similarly, 48(a) is 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. And the mandatory sentence under 48(1)(b), 450 times 2, 900,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. You have 14 days to appeal from the decision of the court. For the fourth accused, he was convicted in counts 5, 9, 11, 12, 14, and 15. It's good to set the record straight at this moment that equally as stated, the fourth accused did not receive any benefit, but rather money was lost under his leadership. So the court will apply Section 48(1)(b), 1A, and 1B, the mandatory sentence for the loss. So in count number 5, 1A, the fourth accused is fined Kenya shillings 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. The mandatory sentence under Section 48(1)(b), Kenya shillings 9,795,000 times 2. The amount is 19,590,000 default to serve 2 years imprisonment. Count number 9, under Section 48(1), the fine is 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. In respect of Section 48(b), the mandatory sentence on the amount lost, that is 15,389,000. The fourth accused is fined Kenyan shillings 30,779.70 in default, 3 years imprisonment. Count number 11, 48(1), 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. Section 48(1)(b) on the mandatory sentence. I need to point out on this is Section 49. Mr. Bosek, for your benefit, I had referred to the evidence of Madam Rombo, who said when the allowance is not enough for any institution, SRC is always ready to hear a review, and that's what the court expected the fourth accused to do, to seek a review from the SRC. So on count 11, that is 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. The mandatory sentence for the loss incurred, 19,549,000 times 2, that is 39,098 in default, 3 years imprisonment. Count number 12, Section 48(1)(a), 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. Mandatory sentence for the loss, that is Kenya shillings for 4,983,000 times 2, that is 9,967,000 in default to serve 1 year imprisonment. Count number 14, 48(a), 300,000 in default, 1 year imprisonment. Mandatory sentence for the amount lost by the government of Kenya, which is 5,353,000, 532 times 2. The fourth accused is fined Kenya shillings 10,707,000, default, 1 year imprisonment. Section 4, count 15, the last count, Section 48(1), fine 300, default 1 year imprisonment. The mandatory sentence for the loss of 1.9 million. The total is 3,900,000 in default to serve 1 year imprisonment. 14 days right to appeal is explained. Okay. Yes, Mr. Sagana.
May I request a certified copy of the sentence? And Your Honor, my apprehension of the time it will take for certification of the sentence, may I request for either just the final order or certified handwritten copy of the sentence, which is mandatory now for purposes of payment of fines following the central government guidelines. It's my apprehension that it may take a while. So to get a certified copy of the handwritten, just for purposes of using that at the bank or purposes of finally, upon this payment, the accused has been on a cash bill of 1 million shillings, which was granted pending the hearing and determination of these proceedings. I humbly request that that be released to him.
Was he the depositor?
Yes, he was the depositor.
Okay.
Equally, he also deposited his Kenyan passport and diplomatic passport as a bail condition. And upon payment of those fines, may we request that the same be released to him. That will be all. I'm very grateful.
Yes, Mr. Boss. Yes.
We are obliged for the judgment and the sentence notes that you have done this afternoon. And for the second offender, Your Honor, we wish to make the following application under the provisions of Section 356 of the Civil Procedure Code.
Civil procedure?
Civil Procedure Code, CPC,
Yes.
75.
Civil procedure or criminal?
Criminal procedure.
Okay.
Criminal procedure.
Okay.
We are asking for the following: certified copies of the judgment, certified copies of the sentencing notes, and that Your Honor, the amount that you have penalized the second offender, which
huge an amount, and we pray that you grant him bail and also stay of the execution of the sentence to enable him file an appeal. Your Honor, I would ask that you impose necessary terms which you think will be reasonable to ensure that within 1 week, today and tomorrow, subject to availability of certified copies, we will have filed the appeal against the sentence. And we believe that we have a very, very strong case, Your Honor. Your Honor, in imposing the terms of stay, there are already those terms that are in place. One, the second offender's passport is with the court. Is also the 1 million shillings which was deposited as a cash bail. Your Honor, you could impose any other term, like probably that will be taken back to Sibiri police station for that 1 week. What we are asking is that there should be a stay. Your Honor, Section 356(1) gives you the jurisdiction to grant this prayer. You can bring the High Court or the subordinate court which has convicted or sentenced a person may grant bail or may stay execution on a sentence or order bail or death, entering of an appeal, and on such terms as to the security of the payment of money or the performance or non-performance of the act, or the suffering of any punishment ordered or in the sentence or order as may be reasonable to the High Court or to the subordinate court. So, Your Honor, we do pray that we could impose certain terms, but definitely the huge fines. Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor, we are saying that this court has a duty to ensure that justice is served. Consider the following, Your Honor, that the accused throughout the trial for the last 5 years been on bail and he has not achieved one time at Secondly, Your Honor, putting or imposing the custodial sentence right away will affect even the physical health and the psychological of the offender. That's Your Honor, we are worried because of his age. Yes, the COVID-19 pandemic has explained during the petition, Your Honor, that this could be a real challenge and it's a matter of concern. Yes, so Your Honor, we do pray that the grant us the pending appeal, and that in 1 week, the doesn't matter the mention, in 1 week we will find the appeal, subject to both availability of the legal documents that are requested from this one of the court. And Your Honor, we appreciate the fact that you have cleared the record straight that my client never benefited from a single coin, is not a beneficiary, but these monies were paid to other Kenyans. I say no more. Thank you.
Is your client the depositor of the cash bill, or it's deposited in somebody else's name?
Sorry, Governor?
Is the fourth accused person the depositor of the cash bill?
It's supposed to be the cash bill is deposited.
In his name?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Okay. Prosecution?
Thank you, Your Honor. In response to the application of bail pending appeal, the prosecution went to process that application on the basis that this court is functions official, that it has dispensed its duty, Your Honor,
Please proceed.
Your Honor, Article 165 and Article 50 and the Criminal Procedure Code is clear at the point when the court delivers its judgment, goes ahead, considers the submissions made by both parties during mitigation and submissions on the victim.
I never understood the article.
165 with the Constitution. Your Honor, from the reading,
Yes.
from the reading, Your Honor, of Section 356(1),
Section?
356(1) of the Criminal Procedure Code states that the High Court or the subordinate court which is convicted of sentenced the person may grant, may. It is a submission that it is not mandatory. In light of that, Your Honor, the reasons that have been advanced to you to grant bail pending appeal arise out of a sentence, Your Honor, or sentences and fines that are provided in law that the court has in detail considered submissions on mitigation and submissions on the impact of the sentence. Your Honor, the role of the court is to be just and fair to all the parties that are before it. And therefore, it is a submission that the proper forum for the said application, now that the court is functions official, is in the High Court. Your Honor, it has also been submitted to you that all accused be granted 1 week. Your Honor, it is not for an accused to make determination or set conditions right, on what the court is up to. That purchases a submission that the proper forum is the High Court, and this court, from the reading of Section 356(1), is not under mandatory provisions supposed to grant that. Therefore, Your Honor, it is a humble submission that said application has not met the requisite provisions of law to be granted and the same should be. It's been submitted to you, Your Honor, that the court should consider remanding all the accusers to be guilty, pending appeal. Your Honor, it is a submission that court being functions official, accused stands convicted and facilities of the police unit remain as facilities for remand of suspects. So the status, Your Honor, has changed. This person is now convicted. Then on the other submission that was made, it is a submission that the facilities which the court of deemed fit even after passing the sentence and all the necessary facilities to ensure that the health of the four accused person is taken care of.
Mr. Diungu,
Yes.
the sentence specifies in the default part,
Yes.
specifies the facility.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, so there is no doubt about
Yes.
the facility the court has preferred.
Thank you.
Maybe you can just respond specifically.
Specifically, Your Honor, on that regard, Your Honor, I was just responding that the state facilities have the capacity to ensure that the health and the safety of the accused person is taken care of. And it's not been submitted to you how that cannot be done in the same facilities. Therefore, it is a humble prayer, Your Honor, said application should fail in the first instance.
We start Ms. Kivali. She wants to address the court. Yes.
I also wish to satisfy the statement as for the sentence. Copies of the sentence and the judgment.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor, I want to make a brief reply.
Yes, please respond, Mr.
First, Your Honor, Article number 165 of the Constitution talks about the establishment of the High Court of Kenya. Your Honor, the state is not being handled, according to the Constitution, because it talks about there is a status High Court. Your Honor, I do not invoke this, and I'm very sure of the court as I've been today, this afternoon. Your Honor, secondly, functus official only relate to the following: that you have rendered the judgment, you cannot change that judgment. That you have also rendered the sentencing, and you cannot change that sentencing. It can only be overturned in another court of different jurisdiction. So functus official only relate to those two aspects. Your Honor, the state has equally gotten the provisions of the criminal procedure, which I rely on. And they are right to say that it's me. I think I read, Your Honor, and I also emphasize the fact that you have a very wide discretion in granting aid. You could even, Your Honor, allow the offender to remain in the same terms that were imposed during the trial. So, Your Honor, you have the decision to grant bail, and this has been clearly stated in section 356(1), Your Honor. And the law has given a leeway on what can be imposed by the court, either the High Court or the subordinate court. So you do have the restriction. I've read the section, and you do have the restriction. It says it may. It does not say shall. I never read shall. I said may. So on the basis of that, Your Honor, the health of the accused person is better off not being, stay is the most appropriate thing at the moment.
This is the ruling of the court. Yes, the court has keenly considered the application by Mr. Sagan and Mr. Bosek and the response by Mr. Riungu and Ms. Kibali for the state. On the request of proceedings, the court hereby orders that the state be given certified copy of the judgment and sentence as sought. And for the first accused, the defense also to be granted certified copy of the sentence or order upon the payment of the requisite fees. So whatever you pay for is what you'll be given. On the application by Mr. Bosek, the court has just meted out a sentence on this matter. In my view, the sentence meted out is lenient and reasonable in the circumstances. If I had no doubt whatsoever, I'll have ordered otherwise. For now, the court is not convinced that there is a basis to disturb that sentence and to exercise the discretion under section 356 of the CPC. On account of ill health, the court will direct that the fourth accused be accorded treatment at the prison infirmary, and the prison clinic shall be at liberty to refer him for treatment as they may deem fit. So let both parties, or rather both accused persons who are now convicts, comply with the orders of the court. So it is accordingly ordered. You have 14 days to appeal if you are dissatisfied with any of the decision of the court. Okay, all right. Sorry about that. It has been a long day. Sorry about that. Let me just make an order that the sureties, if at all, are hereby discharged. To be in the sureties, if at all, are hereby discharged, and the securities to be restored back to them. In event of cash bail, the same to be refunded to the depositors. The rest of the orders on the passports release, I think let them be made at the appropriate time. Once they are released, just write a letter and the court will comply immediately. Yeah. Anything else? That is all.
That's all about that.
Thank you. That's all from the prosecution?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can I have my way out of here?
All right, you have been watching the live sentencing of former Sports Cabinet Secretary Hassan Wario and also former National Olympic Committee of Kenya, that's NOC official Stephen Soy. The magistrate has said that the former CS Wario will be sentenced or has been sentenced to 6 years in prison or pay a fine of 3.6 million shillings. Meanwhile, Soy will have to pay a fine of 105 million shillings or be imprisoned for 12 years. So hefty fines and sentencings there, but the judge, the magistrate, said that in her view the sentencing is lenient and reasonable in the circumstances. Of course, the two have been accused of abuse of office by the Anti-Corruption Commission and the Anti-Corruption Court, I should say, with regards to the Rio Olympics back in 2016. Where money was misused, and the two have 14 days to appeal that sentencing. So once again, the sentencing there, the ex-Sports Cabinet Secretary fined to pay a fine of 3.6 million or be imprisoned for 6 years, and then Soy will be fined 105 million shillings or then imprisoned for 12 years. We will definitely have more information on this as the day develops and in our subsequent bulletins, so make sure that you stay with us right here on NTV. More in our bulletins at 7 and 9 o'clock. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for. Thanks so much for watching NTV at 1. It's now 2:15. Normal programming resumes. I'm Smriti Vidyarthi. Have yourselves a good afternoon.